Good morning, my fellow yogic travelers. I'm mighty glad to be alive today, and I hope that you are too as we continue to live, laugh, love, learn, linger, and live the life we love. Don't forget to loaf and occasionally labor. All right, Friday, PowerPoint Day. This is the stuff I used to project on the walls in the yoga circle as my little Dharma talk before we got into the asana. So, this is called the beauties and rigors of initiation. So, initiation is going to give you what I call synthesis versus the aspect of ourself that's broken. We're going to put it together, the different elements that make ourselves up. And we're going to connect not only just what's within ourselves, but we'll connect to the people and society around us. That's what's going to form wholeness. Now, one of the things that I won't say I fight against, but I acknowledge that in yoga, there's a kind of assumption that sitting still, what I call the quietest fantasy, is in some way better for contemplating spirit than moving meditation or meditation in action. But once you realize action and being are one, being and becoming are one, then there's no fight. You balance your life according to the proportions that you feel are right. But it's not found just in being quiet, sitting still, although there's a benefit to keeping your body in one place and getting out of the verbal mind. So the traditional way, one needs to spend a colossal amount of time to ask these questions. Neti neti, who am I? And by negating, I'm not this, I'm not that. That doesn't only happen when you're sitting still with your mouth closed. It happens in your quiet ruminations while you're going about your daily business. You ask that question. That's the essence of Raja Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, Yana Yoga, call it whatever you want. But Vichar Atman, who am I? That's the question. Fix your mind on that. Keep rejecting everything your mind comes up with. And if you could get rid of everything, whatever's left, that's it. You're still in action. All right? Nothing appeases your innermost hunger as putting out the one with all your juice behind it. If you're going to play the game, give it your best. Leave it on the court, as they say. Right? I can't do any better than that. And you'll see that praise from other people or achievements and stuff, nothing holds a candle to knowing that I've given everything I've got to give. And that's the most satisfaction a person can get, knowing that they've done everything that they could do. So we travel to the four directions in initiation. The direction of seeing far, the seeing up close, going into your dream world, and connecting to that which is unknown in the realm of the ancestors. And what have you come here to bring? There are always reminders of paying it forward, that you all have gifts, and you're here to give your gifts to the world. Tarot suit was named there. You can see the pentacles, the cups, the swords, and the wands. The pentacles became the diamonds, the cups became the heart, the swords became the spade, and the clubs became from the wands. So you can really see how another four influences there to teach you about the elements. The pentacles are earth, the cups are water, the sword is air, and the wand is fire. Jung also had a four topology of thinking, sensation, feeling, intuition. Intuition was what I call the royal road. Thinking is the intellectual road. Feeling is the emotional road, and sensation is the practical, kinesthetic connection to everything in reality. I also call it king, warrior, lover, magician. Sometimes we look at other people and we reject them for their commonality, but Abe Lincoln said, God must love the common people. He made so many of them. Can you understand your own commonness and link it to other people who you see that you would write off as being less than, but they're really one with us? Can you open your heart to them? Can you feel compassion for their suffering? I love the idea of bhakti being like in a devotional space, opening up to the love that's in my heart, sharing it with other people, versus what I call the dreamy sentimentalism, as pictured by the gopis in Vrindavan, who at night would leave their husbands when they heard Krishna play his flute. Krishna would appear to them, to each one of them, in the form that they thought deity ought to look like. Yahweh is not going to swing with 1,000 gopis at night. Very different mindset, right? But what's the message here? You leave everything behind, and deity will appear to you based on the purity and sincerity of your heart's reaching out. Now, I always like to say that enlightenment, I don't know any enlightened people, never met any. Maybe I've had an enlightened thought every now and then, but it takes one to know one. How would I know what an enlightened person looks like unless I could recognize it inside myself? So, this is a metaphor for a fixed way of going about things. North of the equator, Polaris, or what we call true north, stays fixed in the star while everything else rotates around it. So navigators throughout history have been able to use this practical and functional effectiveness to triangulate. I'm here, the star's there, where do I want to go? And all of a sudden I can chart a course. But like enlightenment, it pulls together all the magnetic, the files, the magnet in your life, like a magnet pulls the files towards itself. Mm-hmm. So you end up attracting to yourself all those things that make up a life that's dedicated and headed towards whatever this enlightening insight is. So that's our pole star. It doesn't matter if it's completely true north, south of the equator. You can't see it at all. It doesn't matter. Use that idea of enlightenment to pull together all the disparate parts of your life and see what it does to bring a certain wholeness to you. Now, Buddha was a master of putting the reptilian brain on a leash, control those instinctive things, channel them, turn your fire into your anger into a fire to motivate yourself to do something else, and find the balance between the contemplative life and the active life. If conservatives don't want to be seen as bitter people who cling to their guns and religion and anti-immigrant statements, they should stop being bitter, clinging to their guns, religion, and anti-immigrant status. As the Buddhists say, it doesn't matter what you don't cling to, just don't cling. So if you're letting go, let go into understanding what the stroke is all about. We all set it up to get strokes to pay off. These are games that are played outside of awareness as a means of generating familiar, often negative unit of recognition or stroke, but it also can be positive. It's the fundamental unit of social action. It's an act of recognition. A person recognizes another person either verbally or non-verbally. And in infancy, these strokes are essential for survival and come mainly from close physical contact with the primary parent figure. Later, strokes are symbolized by words and gestures. We all need to have somebody validate us, acknowledge us, admire us, mirror us, reflect back to us things that we see, hopefully our better angels, or by having that physical closeness, by having people acknowledge us, then all of a sudden we can realize within ourselves we do have gifts and we're wonderful, beautiful, warm, biosocial people deep down. So if you understand that, stop putting it on other people. He did it. I once blamed my brother. I wrote on the wall the same thing. Ang did it. His name was Alan. Ang did it. See? So I know that very well. We don't get anywhere by putting it on other people. Right? Own it, as we say. And then if you do it, you'll find this confluence. You'll find this contact of different tributaries that flow into one another. And it'll give you confidence to live your life in a bold way. So like we say, if you got it, flaunt it. I hope you have a lovely weekend. Enjoy the day. Give the best you're capable of giving.